Hi, everybody. Welcome again. And we're glad to have you here today. We have got two very special guests who just returned from Walt Disney World during COVID, and they are here to fill you in on all good things that happened. So, Charlie, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you introduce them.
Folks, we're pleased today, and we're very happy to have two important people with us. Dari Shadwick is an outside agent for Just Cruisin Plus. The agency is in Brentwood, Tennessee. Dari lives in Murfreesboro. She has been with us quite a few years. Before that, she was in IT and brings a lot of talent to the table for us in terms of electronics. She's going to tell you today that Disney World is open, and with her is her daughter Kristen. And as you can see, they're all masked up, but in the background we see an important castle, and we're going to learn about the best trip that she's ever had to Disney World since she's been going. So Dari and Kristen, take it away.
All right. Well, thanks, Charlie and Sherrie. I'm just going to start at the beginning, kind of walk you through our trip to Disney World, including airport, because it does start there, and include some of the COVID measures that are in place now. So here we are. You see they're with the mask, which these are required at Disney World right now, and they are very strict about those. Covering your nose and mouth, and everyone wearing them. So if you, small children, they recommend if you have not able to wear a mask, just wait until it gets a little more back to normal. But anyways, here we started out, we were prepared. We had our masks, hand sanitizer, Lysol, wipes, and all of that. Took that with us for the airport as well as for our hotel room. I recommend, even in a normal world, I recommend taking a small backpack with you. But even more so you can carry your supplies around. Here we are at the Nashville Airport, left out of B&A. We were on Southwest, and as you can see the slide on the right, all the precautions that Southwest was taking. At the time we flew, they were still doing the no one in the middle seats. I think December 1st, they were going to open that back up. So I think that's back open, but they were doing, and I believe they still are doing, rather than boarding the A group, the B group, the C group, they were taking 10 at a time so that you don't have so many people waiting to board the plane at once. Did not feel unsafe at all at the airport. Hand sanitizer everywhere. I was more impressed with the improvements at B&A. It didn't even look like the same airport that we were in back in last time I flew in February.
I do have one tip when you're on the plane, as you can see, I guess in this picture, try to sit behind the wing, because as you see, there's not many people back there. Everybody still crowds in the front.
Yeah, that was a tip I tell everybody. Even though there were only 40 people on our plane going down, most everyone sat in the front, so we went straight to the back, so you can see it's like we had the plane to ourselves. And there on the right, you can see where we wiped everything down before we sat down, which I kind of do that anyway, but a little more so this particular trip.
Dari, did you have any trouble getting the wet wipes through security?
No, we did not. The wet wipes went through. We did have the little packs. The hand sanitizer, if you maintain that liquid rule that you have to do, in the Ziploc bag, you can get that through, but the hand wipes, we had no issues whatsoever.
They actually did pull my bag on the wipes just to confirm they were wipes, because they were in a round container, so they just wanted to make sure that they were wipes, but it was not a problem that they were wipes. They just wanted
that's
to
really good to know.
Yep. Yes, she had the big bottle. I just had the little pack, and it went right through.
I had two, like the plastic barrels of them, so they just wanted to make sure they were wipes and that it was fine.
So we made it to Orlando, and as you can see on the right there, they were doing all the proper social distancing, face coverings at MCO. was not really that crowded when we went down. Now coming back, it was the Saturday before Thanksgiving and it was a little more crowded, but there was no one in line at security. Delta Wing was a little more crowded than Southwest, but there's just weren't a lot of people, not like what I'm used to seeing. So after we got there, the first now Disney starts with the Express. Here we're checking in. The Magical Express will take you to your resort. The big change here with the Magical Express right now is that they are not doing the luggage transport. You do have to get your luggage from the carousel and put it on the bottom of, put it in the bus and carry it with you. Normally, they send you your documents about a week before you go, and they will include luggage tags where you can check your luggage at your home airport and they will deliver it all the way to your resort. But they're not doing that right now because of COVID. You do have to take your own luggage to the resort. Other than that, as you can see on the right, we watched movies on the way down. It's about a 40-minute ride down to the resorts.
Now, they didn't do it for us, but they do have numbers on each of the rows. I'm assuming when the bus is more full than the one we had, they will assign you a row to sit in. But since there was only maybe 10 of us on this bus, they told us just to leave a row between each party. And again, we just went to the back and nobody was in the back.
Yeah, there's hardly anybody on the bus. This is a bus, one of the transport buses from the airport, not the airport, from the resorts to the parks that we're able to transfer, going back and forth to the park. And here you can see the numbers she's talking about. If there were a lot of people, they would assign you a number, but there were never enough people that they ever made us do that. You can also see the dividers they've placed on the buses. So everyone, just get to their little divider section, families stayed together, and there was never seemed to be a problem. The monorail had some issues, but not anything to do with COVID. I was really hoping we could use the monorail more. We stay at the Contemporary where the monorail goes right through it, but the Polynesian is under construction, so that stop was down, and so there really wasn't anywhere that took us that we needed to go. We could walk to Magic Kingdom. For whatever reason, the Epcot route is completely down, so couldn't really use the monorail a lot, but I'm sure they were doing the same sort of measures on there.
Is there any information about how soon that that part of the system will be back up? I know this is going to be viewed for quite a while, but for those that look at it in the next few weeks, it'd be important to know that if we.
I know that the monorail is not running the Epcot route because they're not doing Park Hopper. So I'm assuming maybe when Park Hopper starts back again in January, they might open that Epcot route on the monorail. But I know that is why it's closed right now.
That is probably why. And I believe that the remodeling on the Polynesian is due next summer. So hopefully it will be open. There is another stop near there for ticketing and transportation. It's near the Polynesian that you could utilize that one instead. But a lot of the Polynesian's closed right now anyway for remodeling. So
it'll be summer of 2021.
Correct.
Okay.
The other to get from here and there is the new Skyliner. It only goes to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. It doesn't go to Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom, and it services 4 resorts: the Riviera, Art of Animation, Pop Century, and Caribbean Beach. We did not stay at any, we weren't at those, so we took the bus over, but Kristen went in August and she stayed at Pop Century, and she did get to ride did take these, and there are several routes. So I think you had to do a transfer at one point.
Mm-hmm. So we rode it from Pop Century. From there, it goes to the Caribbean Beach Resort. You have to get off at Caribbean Beach and choose either the Epcot or the Hollywood Studios route. And we only rode it to Epcot. So when we got on the Epcot route, it goes through Riviera. It moves really slow, but you don't actually get off, and then follows on to Epcot. And then when we came back from Epcot, we had to go to Caribbean Beach again, get off, and get on the Pop Century line.
It was a massive system. I knew it was there and I was prepared to see it. I just wasn't prepared for it to be as big a deal as it was. It's a mode of transportation from parks to resorts. So I thought it was going to be a ride. But
It looks like it's the monorail up in the air.
pretty much, yeah.
And it moves a lot faster than it looks like it does. It looks like they're moving slow in the air, but when you're on it, it feels like you're moving fast.
What's the capacity of the car?
There were 3 of us when I went. So obviously with COVID, they were only putting 1 party per gondola. But I would say you could probably fit up to 6 adults comfortably, maybe 8. But we only had 3, so we had our own.
I was just thinking about families that might have 4 kids going down. So you got a family of 6. So you think a family of 6 would fit on it okay?
Yes, because we had 3 and we all sat on the same side because we didn't want to be on it riding backwards. So we all sat together to look forward, and we're 3 adults and we all fit comfortably on the bench. And there's a lot of space in between both sides for like strollers or any big item you might bring with you to the park that you need.
Well, that's pretty much the transportation options while you're there. Moving on to the ticket prices, I just snapshot this that particular day, which was November the 18th. Disney prices vary greatly by day. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on the month, if you're in peak or non-peak. It depends on how many days you buy a ticket. For instance, if you bought that 4-day ticket, the per price day would be cheaper than if you just bought a 1-day ticket or 4 one-day tickets. We had 3-day tickets, and they will give you a range of days to use those. We arrived on the 18th of November, and I think we had 4, maybe 5-day window. We had to use those any day with any 3 days in that range. They didn't have to be consecutive. You could take a day off if you wanted to. We didn't have a day to take off, but you will get a range of days. You give them a start date, and then depending on how many day ticket, you get 1 or 2 extra days to use those within. You need not only, to get in the park, you need not only a ticket now. Since they reopened, in order to control the number of people in the parks, which they are operating at 35% capacity right now, you must have a ticket and a reservation to get into the park. So just a ticket's not going to get you in. You have to have a reservation as well. And it is my understanding that Hollywood Studios is booked up for the rest of the year. So trying to get in there could be interesting, but you do have to make your reservations in advance. You can do them at startyourdisneyexperience.com or on the Disney app, which is a must-have on your phone. That kind of controls everything.
And also you have to purchase the ticket first before they let you make a reservation. You cannot make a reservation without a park ticket. You have to purchase that first, because I tried and didn't know that.
It's a little tricky right now, but
so there's a possibility you could buy a ticket hoping to go to Hollywood Studios and can't go.
That's what I'm thinking, but I feel like you can also go on there to view what is available. There's different calendars. There's one for annual pass holders, people with tickets only, and then resort guests. So you want to make sure you're on the correct calendar and view the date, and it'll tell you which parks are available for what date.
It can get confusing really fast, but
yes,
you have to watch the calendar and then see what's open, and then try to schedule your days out with what's open. Even though Hollywood Studios is pretty much booked through the end, I am hearing that people are getting some reservations morning of people changing their mind. So I would say check your app every day, and you might get lucky.
Yes, you can change your reservation, which would open up more sometimes.
Yes, everything changes constantly, which is why you need that Disney app on your phone. I don't know if you can see me or not, but this is the app that you must have on your phone, because everything is controlled through that and through your Magic Bands. 2020 is going to be the last year of the free magic bands. You can purchase fancier ones that have little designs on it, but normally these are normally free if you stay in a resort. They're gray unless you go in your app and change your color. So we've been kind of collecting colors. I'm wearing my pink one right now. I've got a purple one. Kristen's got every color under the rainbow, but you can see you do everything with your magic band. You can open your resort door. It's how you get in the park. You tap and Mickey's head turns green and you know you can go in. You can pay your bills with that. Here we are paying a bill. Your server will come by and scan. You've got your credit card connected to it. It knows your park reservations. It knows what type ticket you have. It knows everything based on what you put into your app. It connects. And you want to connect. If you have multiple people in your party, like I had a party of 2, connect everybody in your party together in the app so that when you make a reservation with your magic band or in the app or whatever, it will make it for everybody in your party. Kristen usually takes care of that part for me, so it's done in the app. Or you can do it from your computer before you leave home with the startyourdisneyexperience.com.
I have a side note about the magic bands. So you can purchase food and drink or merchandise with your magic band. If you do not go to the front desk and set up an individual card for each person, it'll automatically charge it to the card on file with the hotel. So I didn't know this at first and started charging things, and it was charging it to my mother's account. So I went down to the front desk and they added my card. That way the charges would start coming to me. So if you don't do that, it's automatically always going to go to the main account holder's credit card on file.
Well, yeah. She had her card connected and it worked, I think, when she was in the park, but in the resort itself, she had to establish her card. Everyone needs to establish a card as well to know where to charge it. Right.
And you have to do it at the front desk because I had my card entered in the My Disney Experience app and it still went to her. You have to set it up at the front desk.
Okay, resorts. Disney has basically 3 types of resorts: the values, the moderate, and the deluxe. Right now for the value, the only 2 that are open are Art of Animation and Pop Century. They announced today that they're going to start taking reservations for All-Star Movies for March 22nd of 2021. We stayed at the Contemporary, which is a deluxe. We had a wonderful, Kristen's lifelong dream to stay at a theme park view room at the Contemporary. It took her 34 years, but I got her there. We slept with the women.
My age.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That tells how
I waited 3 decades to stay at that hotel with that view.
It was a fabulous. I would highly recommend. Great restaurants in there, and the view is, of course, amazing. That is the view from our balcony. I took the picture standing on our balcony. But at all the resorts, they do have the enhanced cleaning where they're doing, deep cleaning the door handles, light switches, beverage area, a bathroom. I think our TV remote was even sealed in a plastic bag when we got there. So they're doing all the extra cleaning, and then you can request, you do your online check-in on the app before you arrive, and you can request either light cleaning every other day, or you can skip cleaning, or they call it mousekeeping. So we chose we were only there 3 nights, so we just chose to skip the mouse cleaning. We could handle ourselves for 3 days. But the online check-in is great. You do that on your app. I did that weeks before we even left. And as soon as we got on the Magical Express, about 5 minutes later, I got a text with my room number that said, do not stop at the front desk. Go straight to your room. The magic band opened, so we never saw a single person. We just walked right in the front door and right straight to our room. So it was wonderful, very contactless type check-in. The big thing there now on food is the mobile ordering. Mobile ordering is king at Disney right now, and I really liked it because you can imagine standing in line behind someone who doesn't know what they want. staring at the menu. So here you can order food, everything. You scan your phone over that little QR code. The menu pops up. You order right on your phone from wherever you are, and you pay for it. It's paid in the app with the card you have connected, and the app just tells you when the food's ready to go pick it up. Couple mornings we ordered breakfast while still laying in bed, and then the app would tell us when it was ready. We would just go downstairs and get it. So it's like didn't have to wait in line at all. Now, if you did eat in a restaurant, which you can see on the right, we ate breakfast at Chef Mickey's one morning, which is a buffet. And we wondered, now, how are they going to do a buffet during this time? Well, if you can tell what they did, they gave us, you have a personal buffet. She will bring you a little bit of everything to your table. We had all these trays that she brought some of everything. So you have your personal buffet. You don't go up there and get it. They bring the buffet to you. So only she and I, you know, this was what we had. It was way more than we could eat. But I thought it was a really clever way to do it. Another thing about Chef Mickey's is that it is normally a character dining, and they're not doing much of that right now. They weren't doing it at the time we were there, but I think today is the day that they started the character dining back at Chef Mickey's. That's a big thing for some people. We actually didn't care too much about that, but it was downstairs and we wanted to give it a try.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of character dining, but I've always wanted to eat at Chef Mickey's, so this was perfect for me.
Yeah, now this is some going on. They character dining. They kind of say they're not, but they are. It's just in a modified version. The one on the left is the Garden Grill, which I think is in Epcot.
Yeah.
There was no one in there at the time, but the characters were back in the background, and they don't come down where the people are sitting. On the right, we had lunch one day in Cinderella's castle, and everybody's like, well, I don't want to go. The princesses aren't going to come out. Well, all of them didn't come out, but Cinderella does come out about every 15 minutes. Now, she's actually farther away than she appears in this picture, but she comes out and does her little thing and keeps the distance, and she does try to make eye contact with the kids. So it's not that you're not getting character dining. It's just a little modified version to keep some social distancing.
I think, at least when we went, there was only 3 restaurants doing character dining. It'd be Garden Grill, like you see in the photo, Cinderella's Royal Table, and Hollywood and Vine at Hollywood Studios. I think that one just has Minnie Mouse right now.
And on reservations for dining on property is normally 180 days in advance, but right now only 60 days in advance.
And one thing that is new, and I'm guessing it's for COVID, is they're doing walk-up lists now. So in the app, you can view what currently might have a dining reservation for right then based on how close you are to a restaurant. I think you just click walk-up lists, and it gives you a list of all the restaurants you're close to and if they have an available table right then. I don't think they've done that in the past. It's always an advance reservation.
But that's one of the big complaints I've heard of people. I don't want to go. There's no character dining. Well, yeah, there kind of is. You just got to realize it's going to be a little different to keep people safe. Another thing that people are concerned about are not being able to see characters. Well, here they are. They have what they call character cavalcades everywhere. A cavalcade is a parade. It could be like Piglet over here, kind of, in an area where you can't get to him. There were 4 Christmas cavalcades in Magic Kingdom. There's Kristen, can't read her shirt, all of it. You had me at Disney. We thought that we saw more characters now than you normally do. And that's been a complaint that I've heard of a lot of people is that, well, my kids don't want to go if they can't see the characters. I thought we saw them more than on a normal day. The way they have them arranged, that bottom right there, that's just part of the train station. But as you leave Magic Kingdom, all of them are up on the train station. I mean, they really are working to try to make some normalcy out of it.
Yeah, I feel like I saw more characters than I usually see because I'm not a fan of waiting in line to meet a character, but I do enjoy parades, seeing them there. And we went to all the parks except for Animal Kingdom, so I'm not sure about what they have, but there are cavalcades at every park. I know Epcot does have a Princess Cavalcade. We didn't see that, but we saw Elsa and Anna came through. At Hollywood Studios, they have a Pixar Cavalcade, Disney Junior Cavalcade, and I think that was it. And then, like she said, the 4 Christmas cavalcades at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to tell on you, but I will. I was so excited about the cavalcades and the characters. And I said, it's just a guy in a suit. And she said, shh, no, it's not. So she was pretty excited. She said, no, it's not. Okay, a couple of other things about the park that I kind of skipped over and I forgot. I want to go back real quick before I move on, are the fast passes, which is the 1 hour window that you normally can sign up for to ride the rides. Normally you start out with 3, and then when you exhaust those, you go 1 at a time, but they are not doing fast passes right now. I don't know when those are going to start back. I haven't heard. The park option is coming back January 1st, which I think that's a little weird that they're going with that one before the fast pass, because they are operating at reduced hours right now. And who wants to waste their time running from park to park when you don't have that much time to start with? But anyways, fast passes, hopefully those will be back soon. Even at 35% capacity, that still looks kind of like a lot of people, especially on the popular rides. We found that most of the rides, no matter what the post wait time was, it was actually about half that. It said 40 minutes, it really only took 20. It just looks like longer lines because they do have the queue markers to stand on. So
I think our longest wait this trip was for Tower of Terror. It was about 50 minutes, and that's only because they started to clean the ride while we were in line. They do sanitize the rides every 2 hours.
yes, and yeah, they do every 2 hours. So you will have a little pause in there.
And with the passes, they are still doing the disability pass, the DAS pass, so that is also still an option.
Yes, I hear complaints about, well, I thought there are no fast passes. How are these people going through the fast pass line? Well, those are people with the disability pass. If a ride broke down, they will give you a pass to come back later, things like that. So those are happening, but the regular fast passes aren't happening. The first park we went to this time was Epcot, and this is my favorite part of Epcot is in the back, the World Showcase. It's like traveling. It's like going around the world in a day. There's all countries back there, and I don't know how they're doing it right now. I did notice that I think people were, whatever country, they try to get employees to work there or people to work there who are from there representing. So here I'm in Germany 1 minute, and then I jumped over to Japan, Morocco, blink my eyes, I'm in Paris, China, over to the right, visited the UK, and we actually had lunch in France, and we had dinner by the Mayan ruins in Mexico all in 1 day. So we can't go anywhere else, can't go around the world, but at least in Epcot World Showcase, I feel like I'm bringing the world to me. So it was really it was refreshing to do that. There's lots of other countries, and we just happened to be there during the food and wine showcase or whatever they call that. And they had a lot of other kiosks with other countries in there. So it was really nice. I felt like I had gone somewhere, far away. There's a lot of construction up in the front of Epcot, however, though. They've got all these borders things to guide you around. It's almost like being in a little rat trap thing to guide you around. They've got some rides closed up in the front, redoing some of the rides. They're adding a new ride in France, a Ratatouille ride. I'm not sure how far along they are on that.
They're also adding the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster in the old Ellen's Energy building. But like she said, most of Future World, which is what the front of the park is called, is covered with walls. And because of that, you can't go from the land pavilion straight across to Test Track. You have to go all the way around, either at the end of World Showcase or all the way around by Mission or Spaceship Earth.
Yeah, the front Florida is a little messy right now, but back in the World Showcase, it's wonderful. That's my favorite place. It goes all the way around the lake, and it's a beautiful sunset. And you can pick your country to have your sunset in. Have a meal in each country, and have food and gifts and drinks from that country. So that was really nice to be able to do.
And I just want to note that not all of the restaurants or gift shops are open in each country. It's just a small selection right now, I'm assuming due to COVID.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they picked what was what. I know some of the restaurants that we passed weren't open. Okay, the next day we went to Magic Kingdom. Not a lot of difference. I mean, the only big things I noticed there is a new paint job on the castle. I don't care much about it. Matter to me one way or the other, but that seems to be a big deal for some people. They've changed the colors out. It supposedly matches the one. Well, I guess it does, because we saw the one in California back in February. So now they match. And all the way to the right, you see Space Mountain with a big crane beside it. They're adding a new, I think it's going to be a roller coaster, Tron. And have you heard a start date on that?
That I don't know, but it's supposed to be a replica of the Tron ride at Disney Tokyo.
I think the thing I'm noticing the most is there's no people.
Well, there's not here on the castle, because we were the first people in the park that day, and I did my best to get a shot before anybody got in front of me, because that never happens. She has at Disneyland, they're not doing the traditional rope drop where the first people come in and what do they do? You get the keys of the kingdom or whatever. She's done that before, but they're not doing that right now. They're actually staggering. Another big thing a lot of people don't know is right now the parks are opening about an hour before the published time, and they're doing that to avoid a crowd at the gate. So we'll tip there to get there early.
Yeah, they'll open about an hour before the posted time, and the rides will start about 15 minutes before the posted open time. So if it opens at 8, they've been opening at about 7, and about 7:45 is when they'll start running some of the rides. Also about Magic Kingdom, I just wanted to point out the Rivers of America is drained. So the Liberty Square riverboat is down. You can't go to Tom Sawyer's Island. And this is at least until February 2021. So it could be longer, but it's at least until there. So I'm not sure what they're doing, but all the water is drained. So when you're waiting in line at Haunted Mansion, you're used to seeing the water there. It's just completely drained.
No idea why.
And also the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover is down for refurbishment till at least next year.
I really think a lot of what they're doing right now is because of COVID, and they don't have the number of people there. They're just making improvements, doing things that they've been probably been needing to do for a while. And this gave them the opportunity to do that.
Right. And the 50th anniversary is next year, next October. So I think they're preparing for that as well.
Okay. And we, like I said earlier, we walked over there from Contemporary. So that's another plus for the deluxe resorts over around Magic Kingdom, Contemporary, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian. You're right there at Magic Kingdom. So you can just walk right over there. Next, we went to Hollywood Studios. This is very popular. It is the smallest park of the 4, so it fills up the fastest. And with the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, it's very popular right now. But this is a new section. They were building it the last time I was there. This is Toy Story Land. It's kind of like walking around in a giant Tinker toy set or old games, toys that you probably remember from a kid in life, bigger than life size. The new ride that was the most popular there in that section, and I thought I had a slide in here, but I don't, is the Slinky Dog. It's a roller coaster that's like a big Slinky Dog. So kids.
Slinky Dog Dash.
Yeah, Slinky Dog Dash. This is great. Kids, if you have small kids, they're going to just love this area. It's closed. They had a restaurant. It's closed right now, but they have a it's Who's Toy Box. It looks like a lunch box.
It's called Andy's Lunchbox.
Yeah.
And it may be reopened now, but it was not when we were there.
It's a building, but it looks like a lunchbox that's open, and then you go and order your food out of a big lunchbox, and it's just cute as can be.
And it's one of the quick service options.
For adults or anybody really, the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge section. This is the most immersive area of the park I have ever seen. It's not like a ride. It's like you are in Batuu. You are in Star Wars, part of the movie. They don't have it right now because of COVID, but normally they will have the stormtroopers will walk through, Darth Vader will walk through, and they won't just walk through. They'll stop you and interrogate you as if you're part of the, First Order. Kristen got taken to task by a stormtrooper in Disneyland earlier. Pledge your allegiance to the First Order or else. So
I'm a First Order anyway.
Yeah, I'm more Resistance, but it is really neat. I mean, it just looks so realistic just to walk around in, and you don't have to have a ticket to go in this area. A lot of people think, well, I can't go there if I don't get that boarding pass that we'll talk about later. You can go in this part. I mean, it's just, there's shops, there's restaurants, and of course there's rides in there, but it is a really neat area, especially at night. The sounds they pipe in, you think you're there. I'm just waiting for, the speaking of the Millennial Falcon.
And characters do come out. I guess there's a picture there of Chewbacca. Kylo Ren came out. There was some stormtroopers out by the TIE fighter that they have near Oga's Cantina. I think we saw Rey. I either saw her in August or this trip, but so they will still come out, but you can see they keep a distance. So you'll still get to see some of those because I know that's important to some people.
Yeah, they do. They came out on that stand up there and they wave. It's not as kind of interactive as they were, but someday I'm sure they'll get back to that. But it just blows my mind every time I go in this area.
And also what you can't see in the picture with Chewbacca, where we're standing down low, they actually have green dots on the ground that they want each family to stand on to social distance while people are gathered there around them. And there are cast members standing there making sure people try to stay social distance, since this does cause a crowd when the characters come out.
Yes, and also they want you to stand, and they kind of spread them out so that people don't congregate for very long. The big thing in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is the newest ride, the Rise of the Resistance. And that is can be a difficult ride to acquire a boarding pass on. Unlike the other rides that you just get in line for, you have to, it's sort of a lottery. Twice a day at 7 a.m. and at 2 p.m. On your app, you can try for one of these boarding passes. And you better hold your mouth right to get it to work. There's theories on how often you should refresh your screen. Do you use Wi-Fi? Do you use 4G? Do you whatever? I have yet to get one. She gets one every single time. So I just have to thank goodness she's got us cross-connected so that when she gets it, I got one too.
Yeah, I've never had a problem. I just always hope the force is with me and I get one, and then it is, and then we get one.
We do get one. And I was so glad they just changed it right before we left. It was at 8 and 2, and you had to be in the park. They changed it right before we left to 7 a.m., and you can do it from anywhere on property. So we actually set our alarms for 6:50, and we were laying in the bed at 7 o'clock when she got our boarding pass. So we didn't have to get up and get ready and run to the park, because prior to that, we would have to go in the park, and everyone was literally standing around with their phone in their hand, and at 10 seconds till 8 a.m., the entire park would go quiet. And then you would start hearing screams, I got 14, I got 3, I got this. And it's just crazy. But it's the 7 o'clock, you don't have to be in the park now. So you can do that from anywhere. And that was a great help. Today, they announced that on December 20th, I believe, they're going to change the 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So you do have to be in the park for the second boarding pass. excuse me, giveaway, but you don't for the first one. So you'll get a boarding pass number. For instance, I think we were 13 this last time, so you've got to watch on the app. Your app will tell you when they're boarding that boarding pass range. They might say we're doing 10 through 15 right now, and you have a 1 hour window to get over there and go through the ride. But a lot of people get angry because they don't get the pass. I spent this money and I went and I really wanted to ride it and I didn't get it. It can happen. I don't know if that's going to change. I heard they used to do Millennial Falcon that way, but they don't anymore. So maybe someday, but we've never had a problem getting on. We've ridden it several times.
And one thing with Rise of the Resistance, as well as any other ride that has a pre-show, they're not doing pre-shows for rides right now. I meant to mention this at Magic Kingdom. At the Haunted Mansion in the stretching room portion, it's already stretched and you walk straight through. So some people don't like that because it loses its Disney magic. With Rise of the Resistance, when I went in August, they did the pre-shows for Rise of the Resistance. But when we went this last time, they didn't. They walked us in a side door and we hopped right on the ride. So I don't know how they decide with Rise of the Resistance. I know a guy that just went a week ago. He got group 90 from the 2 p.m. boarding groups, and they did the pre-show for him. And we were group 14 and one of the first to go in the morning, and they didn't do it for us. So I don't know how they decide on that particular ride, but there's no other ride. Tower of Terror, there's no pre-show. Rock and Roller Coaster, no pre-show. You walk straight through the recording studio because that causes people to stand around and
congregating in there, because a pre-show is kind of a thing to get you ready for what the ride's about to do. So yeah, I think they're doing that right now just to keep people from congregating. They just let you keep walking. So.
But if you do get to do the pre-show, there's 2 pre-shows with Rise of the Resistance. They do have the green dots on the ground to social distance the groups that are in each pre-show if you do get to experience that.
Yeah, I'm with the first order there. And they will have the sign out front there. So the virtual queue has already been distributed for this one. So a lot of sad faces staring at that little Animal Kingdom this time, but these are a couple pictures from my last trip to Animal Kingdom, the Tree of Life, and then my favorite ride. And if you ever want to go on an African safari, all you gotta do is go to the Animal Kingdom. Those little trucks, whatever you want to call them, you drive, they take you out somewhere, on property, and these animals are live and walking around. Giraffes were sticking their heads in the top of the Jeep. I felt like I was on a safari somewhere. I mean, I was just in Florida, but it was I wasn't expecting live animals because, Disney has all the animatronics, but this was a nice ride, and I don't know how they keep them contained. You don't see how they do that, but that was really, I was impressed with that.
Fun fact about that ride, the size of just that ride is the size of the entire Magic Kingdom theme park. That's how big that ride is.
It is huge, and I can't remember all the animals. There were some animals that I'm like, are they really loose? And
yeah, we've taken grandchildren for their 5th birthdays, and we always do this ride, and everyone love them.
That's my favorite ride in the park.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite is Mount Everest. But they are doing cavalcades at Animal Kingdom, even though we weren't there and didn't see them.
And then these are just some of the Christmas decorations are up. You can see some of the trees and the wreaths and all that. They have 2 projections on the castle, the blue and the red and green. I can tell you from personal knowledge now that the night we slept with our curtains open at the Contemporary, that they left that red and green up all night long. You can see the movie lights coming out. I couldn't believe they leave every single light on in the park all night long. So we could look out and see any given ride. If you had to get up in the middle of the night, we'd look out the window and it's like, oh, there's the castle, there's, everything. But it is, if you want to go for Christmas, now's the time to go.
One thing they are doing now on the castle with the Christmas projections, Every time they change, because the colors will change. I think I heard somebody say it's the 45 mark of each hour, the projections will change, and now they do a little quick firework out the castle when it changes. They did not do that when we were there.
Yeah, that was another complaint, that they're not doing the fireworks. And they weren't doing fireworks when we were there, but as you can see, I caught a couple. They were testing them, and I was sound asleep at 5:45 a.m., and somehow this little green glow caught my eye, and it was Tinkerbell. She ran up to the castle, and then the fireworks went off, and I ran over to wake Kristen up, and I'm like, get up, there's fireworks. So they were doing a test at 5:45 a.m. We couldn't hear them. I guess they have good soundproof windows in our hotel, but the light caught my eye. So they were doing tests, and they are doing a few in the parks now. And that seems to be a big deal for people as well with the fireworks.
Had we not slept with our curtains open, we would have no idea.
Probably, well, we hadn't stayed, there, but signs everywhere, signs. They will remind you about the face coverings worn at all times, except when you're actively eating or drinking, which means you cannot walk around and carry a drink and take a drink. You must stop, sit down, and drink. So they're very strict on that. If you're not properly wearing, they will ask you to leave. They will take your temperature as you enter the park when they do the bag checks. They just recommend, really small children have trouble wearing masks. Just please wait until they get back to normal, because they're going to make them wear them as well.
There are cast members where their job is to stand there and make sure people have their mask over your nose and your mouth.
Yes, they do have people in the queues, then that is their only job, to make sure that you're wearing it and wearing it properly. Must cover nose and mouth, because, some people will try to put them down here, and it's like just making sure. And then even photos, even if the Disney photographer comes up to take your picture, you must leave your mask up, only when you're eating. So they
do make overhead announcements about the masks throughout the park several times a day.
I never really saw anybody having any problems with that. Everybody just really did what they were supposed to do. So I never saw any problems with this. I mean, there were reminders everywhere, signs and over the speaker, but it just seemed like everybody was happy to be there and were, following the rules, which was a good thing.
If you don't wear your mask on the rides, they will not give you your photo if that ride has a photo. They recently just started digitally putting in face mask on your face if it's down, but they've stopped already because people were complaining they weren't getting their pictures fast enough. So if you don't have your mask on your face, you don't get your ride picture.
Yeah, they're pretty strict about it, but these are some of the skip pre-shows she was washing stations. They've added hand stations. You can see over here just washing our hands. They have a hand sanitizer dispenser at the end of every ride. So when you get off, the first thing you do is you put hand sanitizer on, but they do have these soap and water hand washing stations placed all throughout the park so you can wash your hands. I just really thought they were doing a really good job with that. Here's some of the queue markers. They put plexiglass up between the rows to keep, from being close to people, keeping that barrier between the lines, but very strict on the queues, and people were good about that. We'll see, the next person went along. We've got our Small World dots down here. The lower right corner, they even have them on the rides. This is Soarin', and even you're going to ride up in the air and look like you're flying over, but you can see there is a barrier between the person behind or next to us, and they seat you by family. You cannot sit in the same little section as somebody who's not within your party. So again, I just thought they were doing a really good job keeping that social distance.
For faster rides like Big Thunder Mountain, they skip every 2 to 3 rows between each party, since obviously they can't put the partitions up, they might fly off. And like Space Mountain, they'll do 1 party per vehicle, so you may get your own vehicle, you know, for Space Mountain. But the slower rides, they all have the partitions up between each row.
Yeah. So overall, you know, there's a lot of changes. I think they're all for the good. I think they're enforcing them properly. People seem to be following the rules. So it was a very fun trip. We enjoyed it a lot. It's, you know, if you're chomping at the bit to go travel, you can't go anywhere else. This is a place you can go. It's in the United States. You don't have to have a passport. You don't have to have a test of any kind to go. Just go and have a good time. World Showcase. It's like traveling the world in a day. So if you can't leave the borders, you can at least go down there and feel like you've gone somewhere. I just think it's a perfect place for travel junkie me to get out and go somewhere, because I'm, you know, tired of sitting home. I want to go somewhere, and we just did it, and we had a really great time.
Dari, this has been a fantastic presentation. It gives such in-depth detail of things that everyone wants to know and will want to know until the pandemic is over. Give us your contact information, your phone number that you use, email address, and that sort of thing, so that if someone has other questions or wants to talk to someone about booking, they can get in touch with you, please.
Okay, my phone number is 615-613-1313, and my business email address is actually Fantasy Cruises, spelled FANTASEACRUISES @hotmail.com.
Okay, repeat the phone number again. It's 615-613-1313.
That is correct.
Okay. And Fantasy Cruises at
hotmail.com.
Ladies, we have thoroughly enjoyed having y'all today. It is, this has opened my eyes up. I have been wanting to know what Disney was like right now during COVID, and we are, as Dari knows, we are getting people that are wanting to go. I can see a lot of people that are going to look at this and say, I can do this on spring break. I can take my kids now and feel comfortable doing it. And it's like you said, Dari, it's a different world now. We're going to be wearing masks for a while. Thankfully, we have the vaccine now, and hopefully by April, we will have the majority of people will already have been vaccinated, and things will be relaxed somewhat. I don't see masks going away. I think that's going to remain for a little while yet, but this has really, really been helpful. Charlie, have you got any last words?
No, just one more time. Dari's phone number is 615-613-1313. Fantasy Cruises, it isn't, FANTASEA Cruises, CRUISES @hotmail.com. So give Dari a call. I'm sure she has lots and lots more information. We didn't want to run the presentation overly long. We've stretched over a few more minutes, and we appreciate you staying with us, and have a good evening.
Thanks.